Let's see if you guys at home end up being right, as the bands are going live right now.
Well, MNM have been more dynamic across their scoreboard when it comes to the frag department as well as the team play. As for BDS, it's been a little bit more top-heavy. Shaiko, the currently the third best player in the entirety of the tournament, and behind the likes of Newers as well as Spoit. Fantastic tournament so far for all three of those players, but now we'll see if it comes to a head for BDS. Can Alems especially pick up his play up against MNM here? We'll just have to see. Could be Shaiko putting on his best version of the Grim Reaper that sends MNM to their demise here too. Osa and Nook going to be removed here for the offensive side. Defensively, it's going to be Azami to start us off.
No surprises on the Azami pick. She's been the first of the litter for a large majority of these games, and specifically for Border, once more has that capability to play into security. Just a bit too advanced of a position for teams to take down from time to time, so she's going to be knocked out. The second man, obviously, previously to this tournament would have been perfectly normal to see, but as far as this tournament is concerned, it's a bit of a rare sight as the Mira ban is actually going to come forward that leaves both the Solus as well as the Valkyrie in play for BDS and MNM when we swap sides. Just not wanting to deal with those potential harsh angles that the Mira window can set up. They're okay to take the challenge from some of the other operators instead. Overall, just kind of giving the free roaming operators the capability to do that and denying more of the kind of setup ones here with the bans.
Well, Shaiko going to be playing Alibi. This is his most played operator of the entire tournament, so probably be seeing this one quite often throughout this series. Frost will be working her way in as well, and why not? There's a decent amount of windows that play into Armory's play style when it comes down to it. Different ways for MNM to try and get some access to the building immediately. And over on the MNM side of things, they've gotten at least a couple of pressure points they want to try and apply themselves towards. And that's where Zero and the Flores come in with those Rotero drones.
Aside from that, though, everything is going to proceed as expected. The defense not throwing out any huge curveballs here, though certainly BDS having their own flair to things with the way that they are going to choose to defend this site. I think we'll see once again the usual extension into security there. Taken at the moment by Shaiko. So with a big key piece player here looking to delay the eventual take from MNM. And try to, of course, potentially pick off a few kills in the process too. And he's going to immediately move in the Argus cam here to try to spot out Shaiko's position specifically. Don't believe he's gotten the immediate counter onto that camera, so the intel will be good. A lot more presets going to end up going down here too. So there we go. Dave has the spot. Can MNM follow through with an execute? Going to be a few seconds here, but nope, the nade lineup from below should strike true, and indeed it does. Nicely hunted. The Shaiko goes down without ever spotting a member of the enemy team.
That's only 50 seconds off the clock as well. MNM not even needing an engagement to make that happen. Like fact, feeling as though he might be able to influence this position on the balcony, but choose to rotate back towards office. BDS have to try and get this figured out now. Down a man, and quite an important one as well. In fact, he'll rotate in to try and assist Renshiro with the security position. MNM doing their damnedest to try and get some extra info for these positions. Able to get a ping. Another nade underneath Renshiro. He tries to don the mantle that we saw from Shaiko inside of security. He meets the same demise.
Phone call is out. We'll reveal the remaining three players' positions as Soltov and the rest of MNM attempt to get into position to execute against these players. Like a fact, trying to challenge from the exterior door of office, though. Won't be finding much from that particular position. The Rotero drone scares him off deeper into a bit of a bunker spot, as the remaining two other defenders are also waiting deeper into that site now, just kind of letting MNM waste out as much time as possible to set things up. And then we'll just be ready for the actual counter on the site deployment. A little spot there from Nello. Just going for the soft breach right now on the main walls. Part of it was left soft. Spotted out that goo mine. He's not going to get tripped up by that. When they end up walking forward here, MNM, of course, with the control of the break room for pretty much the entire round ever since scoring the opening kill against Shaiko, but haven't really been able to use it to bully out any of the additional presence. We still have BDS poking forward from their office hold, and that seems to be causing some hesitation for MNM as that player has now reached the front balcony here. Uses though, jumps directly in, quickly executes in to take out that player. Alems also to fall, leaving just Bride in the 1v5. Perfectly played so far by MNM, and it's going to stay that way throughout the rest of the round as they lock in a flawless for the first play here.
Incredible patience from MNM there. Don't worry, I got it. Good job, guys. We absolutely screwed over BDS. Amazing, flawless round. Let's try and keep in control of this. You're welcome. I know. MNM, though, all things considered, fantastic way that they broke down that round there, John. Love the way that they really backed up all their plays with the influence from Info. Discovering things in security and not dealing with it head on. Not being bullheadish about things, right? They don't have to aggressively try and get people in the building. Instead, they can go to the portion of the map that BDS has already gifted over to them and work it that way. And that's exactly what they do. Two big frag grenades from down low. And like the second one, a really big surprise as well, because we had the zero utility coming in as well. A lot of different things Renshiro could have done with that, but just not able to really suss it out. And some really, really big plays coming because of that.
Shotgun out here as well for the Solus. This will be fun to see how Lycofac tries to use it specifically for this round. Already, of course, seeing him do a little bit of the reconstruction work there. But later into it, that's when we'll see him come out to play in a much bigger fashion, I do believe. As MNM begin their own clear here, approaching the south balcony first. Not gonna be the first point of contention though. Shaiko once again with some intel to play into, but yeah, unfortunately the railing down there on the balcony blocks off any potential winning angle. He would have had to pick up the kill. Nafe stays safe even though he's spotted out by that pre-fire. The rest of the team moving into East Main, quickly taking some map control for themselves, but now where do they go from here? That's the next big question, as there is a bit of a crunch waiting down below from BDS. Shaiko as well here. Oh, missing an opportunity, but corrects himself upon it. Quickly he's able to take down Solitop. This time he'll strike first, eliminating the first attacker from MNM.
Tyrant not feeling as though he can try and get that refrag onto Shaiko from his position. No move from the Eastern player after his teammate goes down right next to him. MNM, no real map control past that position, trying to get some things going for the office side. That's where these X-Kyr also come into play. Some frag grenades out as well, and Tyrant actually going to clean up EFAC all the way in the bellows of 90. Nice. Shaiko with a nice play via impacts here. So he'll take down one for his own name. That's two big players off the board now. The ace gone as well as Solidop.
Bride trying to line himself up for a bit of an aggressive swing to get some revenge here. A loss like a fact earlier, but not going to be able to justify the aggressive play, especially now that we're boiling down to that final minute and a half here. Feel that they have done the job necessary to waste out the time up top here. And so we'll work on opening up the rest of the real estate that has not been cracked open for the push just as of yet here. Like we said, even though they're going to be wasting time opening up these walls and whatnot, most of the defensive setup that was up here has already rotated back down. They've got an alternate horizontal cross now for Jail, so that will need to be the focus for the clear on MNM, or they can just outright ignore that and go for the site. Since they do have top-down control here, should be a decent amount of time to try and establish better angles, but being down a player, it's tough to justify that aggressive swing, and that's the struggle that MNM are working with right now, is how do we get ourselves into a winning position? Can we find this free pick to try and equalize things? And so far the answer is no.
And that verticality not even going to be of that much use to them either if they do position themselves there. Don't have the means to break that up unless you just want to spam a bunch of DMR rounds in. Nello going to get decapitated from Bride. Look like he may have the entry point there, but obviously sussed out by the defense. Masterfully done so far from BDS. All set up by Shaiko's efforts up top. Nice shot there from Tyrant, but immediately refragged from Renshiro. Bodies down, bodies on for Uzus. So he'll move his way in, be able to at least clean up one. Does not have case control, has to throw himself over towards jungle, and Renshiro, the likes of BDS, will shut it down and get their first round.
BDS with a quick response to things after we see a nice statement made by MNM on the attack. BDS in the meanwhile here, able to find an appropriate response to it on round 2. Shaiko, this time not immediately knocked out by that nade, is able to weigh his own aggression out, and obviously, well, he does get traded. The rest of the team stacks themselves forward, able to split up the numbers for MNM, leave them wounded as they get down to that final minute, and just with not enough firepower to work their way into the site. With the 1-1 exchange, we go back upstairs for BDS's second attempt of this locker hold, and we'll just have to wait and see if they will find success. For the most part, same type of setup going to be deployed towards it. A few operator changes coming in, the most notably, I believe, Alems bringing the Mozzie into this one to deny a little bit more intel, but those frost mats still helping things out too, of course. Somebody plays down, trying to trick up the clear from MNM, although it did not work out the last time, so we'll see if they yield better results here on the second attempt.
Gonna be some change-ups here for MNM. We'll have the Latero drones coming back in. What was Dokkaby? Oh, the dope pick here.
5 seconds left.
Really keep BDS on the back foot. Can't be as aggressive when those logic bombs are going off, but that same breath hasn't stopped them before when it comes down to it. Looks like Renshiro make a fresh impact, ends up breaking the door there as well. A little aggressive look here from Shaiko. See if he can find himself anybody spawning on the western side. There will be one player, but definitely could not find the angle. Now for MNM and Nafe, start things off here as they'll be trying to get control over security and translate this into a physical site push. But the big problem, well, they have to face the big bad. Shaiko will be back inside a break.
Some early progress from MNM to clear out a few set pieces on the map, but overall BDS still holds strong and mostly untested, specifically in their second floor extension here. MNM won't care too much for that, though, if they're given a direct access point, which they nearly are able to find. Renshiro being spotted out here, playing over by West main entry. I'll actually not get forced back too early on. Shaiko, though, is going to be played into a reposition from break. Loses about half of his HP in the process, but still maintains, for now at least, CCTV control. Still the intended goal from MNM to try and burst him out of here so they can move in by Westmate. One last little peek as well over towards the east side, though, as like a fact, potentially tries to line himself up for a challenge on the south window. No damage met from either side, though. But good news is he's able to waste out a little bit of this time. The phone call will stop that from happening, though. So he'll be forced into a corner, as will the rest of his team here, to respect that utility usage from MNM.
BDS so far so good on this border defense. Frag grenade won't get any damage dealt. They've been able to box MNM out of the building thus far, keeping them on these windows, but Renshiro will finally go down to use this. MNM getting something in their camp. Need to try and find another foothold here on the site. Where is the home for this case? The buildup of the players, it's looking like they want to try and force this into archive, especially now that we start seeing this office angle working its way in with the skeleton key. BDS, no chance of a kill just yet. Solid top with a big pick there onto Brede. Tyrant sneaking his way up metal stairs as well. Logic bomb goes off from Uzis. Answer already met from Shaiko.
Knock, knock.
Big push from Tyrant. Changes things up for MNM yet again. BDS, this may not be their site at the end of the day. Here's once again the Matrix falling to pieces. Alems finally getting some revenge as he trades back the push up through metal stairs. There takes down one of the defenders remaining here. And leaves only Shaiko inside of the 1vx now. 1v5 in this case set against him. Impossible to try and capture, so it's another flawless round from MNM as they're able to lock in a second one on the attack here on border.
Yeah, flawless in both of their victories, and both of them kind of matching the pace to the other. That time, MNM using just the utmost patience to play around BDS's playstyle throughout the map. Some aggressive fronts that we saw, but MNM having a lot of respect for what BDS are capable of and constantly able to get the big picks, the rotations back, or some other angles they're able to find behind some of the farther out annexes we saw from BDS. So well done from MNM, finding those pressure points of BDS and able to exploit those to the fullest.
With things working out well for MNM, BDS is now up against the wall to a bit of an extent here, seeing how they can try to get things back under their own control. Still options to execute into on the lower floor, of course, so that's what they'll go towards, as they'll bring out the Teller's defense for this specific round. An emphasis on the emotion sensors too to make sure that their extended play does not get tripped up by flanks. Those will go down in those key positions to make sure no one from MNM can pull off a, obviously not a nook play, but something similar to that in the essence of the way it will work out. BDS with a pulse as well to keep Alems back down to the relative safety of the showers room so that he can have some nice overwatch here in the mid and late points of the round to spot out all of these pushes from MNM. Speaking of which, they're on the board, so we'll take a look and see what they're going to do for their initial clear, and more importantly, if BDS can try to get in the way of that.
All damage off to Tyrant. Not a perfect rotation there. EFAC will have to fix that up a bit. A little spring cleaning. Not too much to worry about, though. For BDS, going to be back to basics and what we have been seeing from them for the majority of this map. A full-on onslaught across the entire board, trying to hold key portions of the map and make sure these entry points are very easy for them to try and thwart. MNM stepping up, looking to try and get themselves into detention. Still have some EMPs in the pockets of Ubisoft. Moves his way in. Solitov will break into the top floor as well. Not going to have the bunker set up here. This isn't going to be for this side. It's towards the other space, as we are going to be over inside of Tellers. There's going to be a big pickup there for EFAC as well, so he'll take down Tyrant on the entry.
Tyrant down, MNM injured yet again. This first kill has been incredibly important so far in determining the outcome of the rest of the round. As we've already seen MNM struggle to follow things up when they have been at a lack for numbers. This round more than likely going to be no exception to that, as there's no easy room for a trade to be found with the loss of Tyrant apparently sledged down with him, so no top downs to be opened up from the inside of the office once, if more importantly, they're able to clear things out inside of there. Solitov tries to pre-nade to the depths of Fountain, but not really much of a setup to be dealt with on the inside of that one from BDS. It's much more properly aligned for deep office. He'll learn that now as he goes for the cross and takes a bullet in response to it. Drop down to about half HP. The rest of MNM trying to crunch their way into this one too, and they will find a successful trade finally. Renshiro on the Cade, getting taken down before he can fully peel himself back. Shaiko, though, still in the hot zone here, just over by East Main Stairs, ready for more challengers to come his way. They'll definitely want to be taking that position down, and indeed, Shaiko ready for the challenge as Solitov crosses his angle. Problem is, indeed, it's an easy entry for Nave to make, and with Shaiko not able to constantly cut those eyes open in the back of his head, he will eventually go down. Pre-day for one, Nello in the trade position for that one, but now he's alone. The 1v2 set against him. A breaching charge put forward that'll blast his access into showers. However, BDS reads this, expects this. They back away, fail to give him the 1v1 gunfight that he certainly would have wanted here, and now wasting down even more of his remaining clock time. 20 seconds to go to try and make a swing work. He does have case control, so at least it's not working against that factor, but members of BDS just refusing to give him anything. Cross is made, gets himself over to the other side of the hallway, but now the player in the back of showers rips out all of his HP. 10 or less now to work with, and just no time for that plant. Like a fact, ends it with the Sheriff. Brings things back under their control, and we'll take back the control of that round once again for our defenders.
Fantastic top hold there from BDS, and it stands true. MNM cannot get things dealt with. It's BDS constantly able to fight back into a winning advantage for their man count. Big plays there, especially from Shaiko, to kind of head it all off. The rest of the gang able to pick up the pieces when necessary as well. And the round, so 2-2 now here for BDS, as they are split right down the middle so far on their defensive side. We're going to head downstairs into Vents and Workshop.
One of the final sight holds now for BDS, as things are going to seesaw back and forth for this series. MNM still at the forefront of this one, having closed out that first round and the second one in flawless fashion for themselves, but unable to rebound so far when they lose that opening fight. So make sure they are going to be staying on point for that one. As, like I said, for the previous few rounds, it's been an incredibly important part in deciding the outcome for the rest of it. MNM certainly seem to need that full roster effect to give themselves a proper execute from what we've seen play out so far. Nearly able to make things work regardless, though, in the last round. So maybe I can see them reach a little bit deeper if things go awry on the opener again. However, the round has now gotten started. We'll take a peek as we've got a very free-flowing lineup from BDS to let their players roam about, as we've already been seeing them do for the previous few rounds, especially here in his border. After all, that's what might you expect. Their users and the rest of the team beginning their initial clears. South Main is the initial emphasis here for the players on MNM to try and clear out any hold on the inside of security again.
We'll keep the Doki in, but Lots of traps still for Team BDS as well that could thwart a lot of the game plan of MNM, depending on how quickly they want to go about this. Every time I feel like I'm like committing a sin on broadcast when I say their name, I'm like, oh no, that is their name, we're good, we're good. Very similar branding to Candy, you know, and it happens. Anyways, Solitov and the rest of the squad working their way in on top east. It took them a little bit of time to get the drones going here, but still so much time remaining in the round. Quite a few people still outside this building trying to assist with the info game for CCTV. It's going to be Solitov that we saw entry inside of East. Have some players to try and assist with the balcony swings if they do come through for BDS.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Breeday's still waiting for the call out to try and find success on the Nitro cell. And the swing working its way in now from MNM as they take up all their pressure on east side. Solitov, big mistake made by him, does not check the doors. That's a double stack there of Breeday's EDDs. It's gonna straight true, knock him down. Good possibility we could see him brought back up potentially, but it's gonna be obviously at very, very low HP here. Only saving grace he has the fact that he went down so far away from the action, but even then the confirmation comes in from Shaiko. Like a fact, also able to claim another one against Nello. We did see one member of BDS also lost that Shaiko's trade. He now ends up going down. Uses 2 to equalize this as he finds a free pickup so far against Ren Shiro. The rest of BDS's upstairs hold now dead as the numbers get a little bit too low for comfort. They peel it back into the site and play this out where MNM are going to match those numbers for the attacking side too.
Big swing here from EFAC, and he gets it as well, Nave. So unfortunate for him. One more logic bomb remains for Uzus. Has to try and get something off of the back of this. Tyrant upstairs, no case control for either. Is that mute jammer close enough for Lems? Oh, it's actually...
player, come on, check the doors!
So unfortunate as the Capcan traps once again befuddle MNM. These traps really getting in the way of their play. 2 big players going down all because of negligence. And a big shotgun blast from a Lems to end the round. BDS claim the lead.
BDS winning that almost entirely on their utility. Those 2 extra kills certainly making things a heck of a lot easier to shut down the MNM clear as they move far too slowly, but at the same time, not slow enough apparently to be checking those doors. As they strike twice over the course of this round here, locking in a 3rd now for our defense. Getting ready to shift this over into Armory for the next hold here, as they're going to go upstairs again. This is where MNM, to be fair, have been able to close out both of their routes. It's a little dangerous to see BDS heading back into this partition of the map, but we'll see if their 3rd selection is going to be the charm, because, well, they can't go anywhere else. This is the final round of the half, of course. So it's either do or die time as far as this site hold is concerned.
Well, this is going to be the most successful site that we're traveling to. 89 plays so far this tournament, a 58% success rate when the defense does go to Archives and Armory. So we'll see if BDS can try and help those odds even more. The defensive win rate overall of Border right now, actually almost right down the middle, 52%. Is there anything closer? I don't think there is. Villa and Bank are both tied with Border actually at 52% for our most offender-sided. Nothing actually truly offender-sided currently right now for siege maps in the pool. So quite interesting stats that we've had so far throughout not only our group stage, but also our playoff stage here. Now BDS set up for the very last round here on round 6, at least for this half. MNM looking to go about things in a very similar fashion, at least operator line-wise up than we've seen prior.
And I'm just going to try and set up some drones, particularly this one on the top end, to give full overwatch for lobby. See if it potentially catches any roaming members of the BDS defense once we reach a little bit deeper into this round. But for now, it's obviously just the usual build-up for MNM, as they need to clear things out first with these Rotero drones. Trying to... Oh, Shaiko drifting a little bit too close to that one there. Loses a little over half his HP from the explosion. He does not expect the radius of it to spread that far out. Big mistake made by him, but hopefully recoverable later on in the round here. Still has capability to fight, of course, but we'll see just how limited his own aggressive lanes are going to be as a result of that excess damage he just took for himself. Meanwhile, on the MNM side of things, we are seeing them continue to kind of wait out for an opportunity, not being gifted one just yet, as BDS is playing into a bit of a trickier setup here. They need to figure out the best way to work around it, it would seem. use this as well. Basically having a lineup against one of the members of BDS. They're tucked a bit deeper into the site, but has not gotten the cross for it yet. He needs to commit a bit deeper to that angle in order to see it. MNM's got a big stack trying to broil up towards something here. We've got 3 players working their way over, but nice denial comes in from Shaiko, prevents the distraction from being deployed over into security. He's ready for this challenge because of that one. The spray not landing where it needs to. He'll be forced to reposition, however, corrects to find the kill there. Solitov, though, finds a trade against the door, going into the actual site, and a second pickup. The trade out Shaiko also. Nella with the find on like effect. Once again, a much cleaner play overall from MNM, as it looks like they're going to be leaning into taking this site for a 3rd consecutive time in this half. Alems trying to change his team's fate in that regard, steals 1 trade back, ready for the second push to come in as well, but also having to contend against this potential lockers lean in. Coming in from the window side of things. Pretty in the meanwhile, while Lems is taking all this heat, just chilling back behind the other bomb chassis, waiting for any potential action to come through on his side as well.
Candela's ready for Nath. Are we going in? Yes, indeed we are. It's going to force Alems back. He tries to take the peek. Alems down to use this. Big damage from Breed. He's got 2 to find and TCS 12. See if he can get it done. This TCSG, an amazing gun at the end of the day. To try and drop off and play this out with potentially the Nitro Cell. Going to run right over to the far side. It seems like they got a yellow ping. Solitov, is he going to make it through? He will, and he gets away as well. Breed, very minimal HP now, and a clutch moment for him.
Breed trying to ascend the stairs to retake this. Got the yellow ping, but a little late to the party on it. There we go. Pops things open, presents the target as Usis goes down. Brings it into the 1v1. Breed will he get the outright clutch now? Trying to work himself in through Beepers here. The pre-fire, the intel is out, but he doesn't have the full track on it. Solitov instead with the peak. Wins it out for MNM as they take a 3rd consecutive take here on lockers. They're only rounds for the attack, but it's enough to equalize us at 3-all.
MNM are doing such a good job of setting themselves up for these team plays, especially when it comes to their clears. Always having somebody right next to them to be able to reclaim that ground, take a fight, try and tag up some BDS members, and, well, if you're Solitov, kill a majority of them. So well done from MNM there, and they'll tie things up. Border 50-50 right down the middle on that half. 3-3 here as we'll switch sides.
And as we do flip those sides, we'll move into the second half here and see what exactly BDS has up their sleeve to potentially make things work a little bit better on this attacking side. Able to trade, of course, but mainly by their own site choices, ending up losing all of their rounds here. Perfectly fine anywhere except this site. So we'll see if things fare a little bit better for them on the attack comparatively to what we saw on the defensive side of things. For MNM, very much the same flair, although they want to also get a tad more aggressive. Solitov bringing the dock into the fold. For instance, I believe this will be the operator they put here on the inside of security to kind of just solo roll this one. The laser gates and other forms of utility blocking off the intel and utility dump deeper into the lockers and other areas itself. Even a little run out there just to get the barbed wire down though, so he has a bit more of an audio cue when the wrap is going to occur against him.
On BDS, out for the very first time here on the offensive side. So let's take a look at what they feel like running. It's very similar to what we'd seen from MNM, and honestly, a very routine lineup when it comes to border, especially with that Doke working her way in past the changes in what we'd seen recently. A big pickup there for Nello is he is lurking downstairs in workshop. He'll find himself an evac, and no teeth for BDS on this, no dice, as they won't have anybody even in the same zip code to try and get this refrag.
And sure, with an angle going deep into lockers now, so a potent cross, but needing to try and have someone from MNM oblige it. That will be the bigger issue here. Solitov is just rushing out here, trying to take a fight on the far edge of the west main balcony. Not able to actually line up the winning angle just yet, and his opponent's quickly droning him out of position as well. He's not aware of this drone though, so won't correspond to the spottage just yet. Although certainly staying as mobile as possible, making it difficult for Lems and the other players involved in this hunting party to try and take down the dock deeper inside.
They have to be so timid. They lose another body here. It's more than likely the round. Also uses waiting out, seeing if BDS want to try and flirt with the dock's positioning. Nothing given them just yet. So the frag grenades on Shaiko. They can try and work this out from down low, and that's what they're going to go for. The dock might be dead. Big kill there from Solitov. Off the mark for Shaiko. And he's going to know these frags are beneath him now. Has to keep spinning. Second one's off the mark too. Shaiko now has the verticality to try and work for the rotation hold, but they don't have a single foothold on the entire top floor.
Nothing to work off of here. As we see here, BDS continuing to try and fight for any and all map control in the later portion of the round. Just 1 minute to go.
Just patience from BDS, but it's not doing anything.
Same problem as we were seeing in our previous series here too. Just waiting for their opponents to make a mistake. They're not gonna, that's the problem. You have to take the right foot forward. Unfortunately, Brede chooses the wrong path. Nath with the immediate cross from inside the site to take him down. Renshiro and Shaiko. All that remains here as they try to play around the main stairs. Now Shaiko, if he tries to go for this push as well, yeah, his opponents will be more than ready for him. BDS just looking a little lost here, unfortunately, in the final 20 seconds. And they try to make something from what is now a 1vx to work, but it will not happen. A flawless round yet again. I think that's the third one this map from the players on MNM. So nicely done as they take control of their first defense.
I have never seen somebody put BDS on a leash like this. This is some serious gameplay from MNM. Shutting down every facet of BDS's gameplay. They can't even add the extra layer. Shaiko can't land a grenade underneath. He's really good with a gun, but apparently can't throw frag grenades. Guy's right above him, a 3-armor stomping directly on top of his head. Cannot get it done. Both of those frag grenades go into practically the same portion of that as well. Just hoping that the Doc would like run into it. BDS not forceful at all. And this team's so very talented at being able to get what they want out of a map. And MNM, as of right now, thwarting it across the board. That's only the first round of BDS's offense, though, so do still have some things that they can do down the line, but, I mean, what a bleak first round.
Certainly not looking promising for BDS to rebound here, as MNM now tries to lock down a second consecutive hold down on the inside of Vents. Different flair to it for their defense. For instance, of course, the Pulse now coming out from Tyrant just to try and spot out the early movements from BDS. In late round 2, we'll help out with that. The Cade to also try and lock down some of the hatch play and catch the movement from BDS as they try to work their way around it. For the rest of the team, though, they're now spawned out on the board, so let's take a look at their initial clear as they're going to begin moving themselves. Definitely wanting to try and burn out Jail if at all possible. You can see this like fact prime, and the nade does not fully commit to it, though. So chuck that one in. Oh, it's going to miss, unfortunately. A little bit too high thrown, and Nitro coming in there as well. Still not going to knock out the electrical as far as I'm aware. Indeed, it's still positioned, so all that utility, including the Nitro, not panning out here. BDS not going to be happy with that one, as that's a full set of nades gone, and they only have one more remaining on Shaiko.
Well, Logic Bomb in. Really wanting to see BDS bring something to bear. Have not been able to get anything. No bread, no water, no survival right now for BDS. Trying to look for something, scavenger mode right now, and it's so awkward to be talking like this as well, given the scoreline. But MNM, they've put a dead stop to all of BDS's plans so far, and we really have to see something to start being hopeful again. MNM, this top floor positioning has been so dominant thus far. Some yellow pings coming through, but they won't find the Valkyrie.
And as now half the round has transpired, Pulse gonna get a spot on someone there. I believe the Valkyrie, never mind, excuse me. Going to see out one of the attackers on the other end of that one. Not gonna have the confidence to throw through the Nitro. It's gonna be Saltov instead, making a move on his own there. Moving forward, knocking out Shaiko. We got the high FOV rolling for some reason as well.
It's the Valkyrie camera.
Oh, that's, yeah, we got still the skin from the Valkyrie camera.
Yeah, this is the best visual bug I've ever seen, actually. This is so sick. This is awesome. No, we keep this production. That's what we do. This is sick. This is amazing.
The game looks like it's like 10% faster now.
Yeah, it looks 10% faster.
And zoom out effect.
I mean, hey, Ubi, if you ever needed a reason to like raise the FOV by 10, there you go. I mean, just put it at 100 instead.
Look at this drone. Great. Zoom.
It does look really good. Tyrant with a nice shot onto a lens. But again, MNM just shutting things down. It just feels like another day in the office right now for them. But finally, we get something going here. EFAC with a big kill. This will shut down EFAC though. Who's got the case? It's going to be on Brede. Definitely going to need some help from Renshiro here. But Renshiro, it looks like his demise is going to be quite sudden into a shotgun close range. Brede, clutch savant when it comes down to it, but a lot to do, a lot to say about this, hopefully. But nips it in the bud. The Deagle shot from MNM, and they'll shut it down.
MNM looking to make quick work of this one here. And now BDS is going to call for pretty much an expected attack at this point, starting to fall behind to a pretty dangerous extent at 5-3. Only one more extra round they can lose. Let's take a listen.
Ils ont des cams Valkyrie, on s'adapte tout de suite, on prend une équipe comme ça en pro. Il n'y a plus de problème pour ça. Les gars, pourquoi on est là, on trempe pour prendre un carré? Il n'y a pas Azami, il faut celui dans Samir. Rushez-les les gars, bougez-les.
En vrai, moi je suis chaud là.
Moi je suis en difficulté sur chaque position les gars.
Vous trônez, je rush comme ça.
Ouais mais après c'est pas pour safe face à eux. En fait, allez-y les gars, tentez des choses. Vous êtes là, vous êtes devant, ouais, je. Allez-y. Vraiment, allez-y les gars. On va perdre la carte sans rien tenter. Ouais, tentons des choses. Tentons des choses.
Moi les gars, le problème c'est qu'on propose tous des trucs et on s'écoute pas. Parce que moi je réponds à tout le monde mais on s'écoute pas.
Oui, mais toi tu réponds, mais il y a les gars qui répondent pas. Moi je suis autour de moi, il y a, je sais pas qui y avait. Et quand je demande à ce qu'on push le toilette, je suis tout seul pendant.
All right, so the time will close out there. And we'll head back into the game. Round 9 coming up for MNM as they try to lock in map point already built up with a 2-round advantage. Keep in mind, elimination match here. So the pressure is on for BDS, and you can hear that the impassioned discussion as we got into their pause about why they are falling behind in this matchup when realistically they should have been in a much better position. Calling back to halftime did not end up occurring. And now that the rounds are just not swinging their way so far in the second half, frustration is starting to set in.
So far, so good for MNM, but you definitely can't say the same for BDS. Talking about some of their problems there and how to attempt to solve them. See if they can make any big changes for themselves. EFAC is going to come over to the Ash. Really, just the team play not there. MNM able to slow down BDS's play. Get the big kills when it matters most so far here on Border. BDS not really able to pull it back across the line when those situations show their face. We'll see if that can change here soon. Nello with a positive read onto the position in some of these players from the default cam, and he'll start his cardiac sensor work inside of Customs.
BDS to open up jail, but while they are doing that, Nello's going to get a heck of a lot of intel here. Only seeing one, but got a little bit more of a buildup occurring outside of lower South Main right now. Try and work their way in through Passport. Lems, meanwhile, works on the other side, the archives door. He'll take that control for himself. That first phone call also coming in, leading to an opening kill and a second one as well. Uses just with the full commitment out through the archives door, shuts down one of the members of BDS, and that's on top of the kill that was also claimed elsewhere on the map. This is not the way that BDS needed to play this one. Renshiro as well. He's had enough. He's just going for it, taking the entry on his own regard. Not ready for it though, as Tyrant shuts him down. Finally, Shaiko yields some success for the roster by at least eliminating Nafe, but 2v4, this is tough work now for BDS to try and take deeper into the map.
The entire site still within MNM's right to hold. Nothing here for Team BDS minus the top floor. Shaiko does have security. It really doesn't matter all that much when it comes to the later rounds. Still have an MNM player down below that as well, actually, all the way over inside of Custom. So this cross angle might not even work out for Shaiko. He will make it inside, shoots, able to take down Usis, but his demise might be quite soon. Another player here inside of Supply. Does he have a sixth sense? No, he does not. And not even Shaiko is that good. The hidden player Solotov reveals himself finally. Brede has been discovered at the back of the bathroom. He's going to try and pull this plant off constantly. Pre-fires through for Nello. He's got that wall right in front of him. Almost makes the transfer, but MNM once again shut him up. And Border looking like their map.
Border indeed, all but fully secured now for the MNM roster. Just one more needing to be locked in. And with plays like this being made towards the beginning of the round, it is more than likely not going to evade them for that long. BDS, of course, up against the wall for this map, of course. Still a chance for them to rebound as we have their own map pick coming up after this one on Cafe. But indeed, a bit of a unfortunate turn of events given the way that this matchup had started. You'd think that rebounding out from the archive site and being able to win every other site, things would have looked a little bit better here, but has not ended up being the case. And now fighting for survival, both in this map and in this series, BDS need to try and find 3 consecutive rounds to keep this map rolling on.
Yeah, MNM is playing extremely well across the board, but you can't say the same for BDS. Renshiro slowed down a bit from what we'd seen prior, but for Alems, this is practically how he's been playing this whole tournament. This has been the worst tournament I've seen Alems in a really, really long time. I think he's got a .91 right now, almost like -30 on his KD spread, I do believe. It's just not a good showcase for him at all. And once again here today in this matchup, granted it is the later series here for BDS, Alems still cannot get on the board properly like we're used to seeing him do. He would never be -5, you know, especially in like Jönköping. He was playing so very well when it came down to it, but he just can't get it done here today, especially against MNM.
Well, we've got BDS out. Probably going to see a very cautious look taken by them in the first minute or so to make sure that MNM are not allowed to go wild with their own opening picks, just like we saw back on the previous round.
So just got those stats pulled up for Alems. It was a .91. He's -21, and John, get this, he's -16 on entry, 12 and 28. KPR of a .64, survival rating of a 26%. His cost, 61% as well, so dwindling from his previous tournaments. Dokubi and Aruni have been his most played op so far throughout this tournament, so definitely not some guns that are, you know, poor or anything like that. Just not working out for Alems, and he gets shut down again, uses with a big pickup. And that's going to be the Nomad away. But you can say the same about the Solus. The drone game can now work out for BDS. The logic bombs working their way in, but nothing coming past some walls being breached.
Uses with another strike, though, for MNM. Knocks down Shaiko. Renshiro and Lycofak, though, keeping the team alive and in this fight as they bring MNM down to only 2 here. Now, Nafe as well as Nello, all that remains to try and strike back, still end it here and now at a definitive 7-3 scoreline. Nello holding the very edge of Archives, a bit of a peculiar position too for him to be playing into. No real room to rotate, but at the same time, his opponents will not be able to establish great post plants if they want to try to play towards the side with him established here. Cam access now given to the attackers as well. Being any bulletproofs as we see one position there. Yep, we're going to strike back against our defenders. Dave immediately has to shoot that one back out and position himself for the fight, which is coming up here. BDS seems primed, ready for the execute. They just need to make sure they don't lose too much on the way in.
On a knife's edge right now. Single bullet could change up the fate here for MNM. Same could be said for BDS. Looking to stay alive, extend border. They've got the office position. Have to find a home for this planner. Brede will attempt to sneak in. Stuns over. They know one's at the back of Archive. Nave's going to drop up and rotate up metal. This could be the counter angle they've been longing for. They know Nello's here. Nave, he's going to reassume where he was prior, and he's going to lose out because of it. He's being too active. Gets cut off on the angle right after he drops it, and Nello gets gunned down as well. Too hasty out of MNM.
And with that, they survived the first of 3. Still 2 needed to go, though. Otherwise, BDS still staring down a loss pretty shortly here. MNM, I doubt, panicking too much at the loss of that round. Gave away a bit too much in the middle of it to their own fights. As a result, end up dropping down here. An unfamiliar loss, certainly for them as far as this half is concerned, but we'll see if a rebound is in the cards, moving themselves onto the first floor hold yet again for what could be our final round still. BDS giving us a similar flare. We'll see if any repicks need to come in because of the site choice, but I doubt it. This setup here should be more than appropriate to manage everything as they begin to work themselves, into the vents.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Oh, a little interesting character working their way into the mix here for MNM. We're gonna have, yes, indeed, Ella come on in, see what she can get done. So we have the Grizmots in for the first time in some time. I feel like we've barely seen her this entire tournament. We'll have to see what they can get done with those. So Valkyrie cams as well for Solitaw, but that one's actually gonna bounce off of the little fan there on the ceiling. Past that, though, MNM looking very similar to what we had seen prior. Going to be able to change out the soft panel, though, here for this top floor. Try and hold things down a little bit more aggressively. Potentially a lot of utility that Team BDS will have to work their way through.
Well, the swings potentially going to be leaned in here in just a moment. We do have BDS beginning to take a little bit of map control. Solitov, of course, standing defiantly at the other end of that one for MNM as he positions himself just on the outskirts of the break hold. For BDS, though, it's going to take a little bit more courage to get them fully onto the inside of this one. MNM actually giving up this position quite easily, as we're not going to see any assistance positioned over by East Main, and now BDS know that, so they'll feel the confidence to begin moving in here and hopefully begin the process, of boxing out Solotov from his current position over on 90.
Nothing coming from the logic bomb. Was waiting for the engagement, but BDS is trying to clear out other portions of the building. Still have one logic bomb in their pocket. The drone game somewhat injured, though, for BDS, as they've only gathered control of the eastern front. And some potential for this to go extremely wrong for them quite quickly as well, depending on what avenue they enter the building through. Nafe directly below the radio window. Xkairos down for the Fountain players. They're going to be across here from Tyrant. No, he's just going to try and play it on that very tight sliver. Crosses back across, takes a lot of heat, though. Some of things are going to start being quite an issue for him.
Shotgun play and the rest from MNM here to try and hold back the tide. Shaiko scores first for BDS. So still going the full distance here as BDS refusing to give up. Once again, stealing away map control over here by Fountain. Solotov still maintaining his 90 spot, though. This could become a problem as of yet here. Uses, though, has been found out inside of Passport. Solotov finally meets his own fate, getting forced into a duel against Lykovac. MNM pushed into a corner here. BDS executing far too methodically. MNM just not being given the room for these setups to blossom, as you see their users missing an opportunity, as he might have expected that just to be the Yana clone, and I think he was correct in that assumption once it is shot away deeper into the site. Camera's positioned here, spots out at least some of the pressure working its way in. Once again, also revealing the fact that the defenders have access to these now too, or the attackers rather. Nello tries to move in, tries to stand his ground to continue this fight, but it's just not going to work out. The second of third claimed. Overtime certainly in the cards for BDS. And it looks like our players over on MNM not going to want to take a chance on that as they call for their attack break coming into this final round of regulation.
Strong round from BDS. Let's take a listen in here and see what's going on.
Which side are you going and what's the plan? What was each side you reckon?
We have pillars, we have army.
They are more fast.
You want to go army?
Okay, they are blind, they know position. Let's just play together.
Yeah, let's do what we want to do.
Guys, I think we came in army, but we should play Valcam and Office, because they don't even play fucking IQ anyway. Army, no, we have only one. But I would literally get a Valk. Maybe Luke can play Valk, no?
Listen, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play mute, same as I play. I'm gonna steal from this below. I'm gonna put a mute jammer on my feet so they cannot block me. I'm gonna try below.
Luke, you're gonna play Valk, yeah?
Yeah. Listen, as soon as tell me when you guys are getting naded, so I can flex, okay? Maybe one Valk comes.
Literally, he stares off here.
All right, well, another round queued up. Another round on the docket here as we get ourselves into it. It's going to be another Armory Archives hold from the look of things for MNM.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being used by...
See if there's going to be any huge dramatic shakeups, and the answer is pretty much no, at least for the defensive set here. They've pretty much a site-focused style of play with their own operator picks, but going to need to actually reflect that in their positioning too, as they have been playing a very out-and-about game, as Border oftentimes does dictate from you. However, it might be the time to peel that back a little bit if they still have an inclination to end this here and now in regulation. Otherwise, BDS certainly going to be priming themselves for that overtime as they're on the streak right now.
Yes, indeed. They've been doing a much better job of clearing out some of these, key points from MNM, like Fountain and things along those lines, and it's made it super difficult for MNM to try and battle out of those positions. Bleeding bodies, especially in that last round, very, very easily represented there. We'll see if BDS can try and recreate that and force us to overtime. As for MNM's defensive strategy upstairs, it looks like, as of now, we'll be playing this somewhat closer to the chest. Don't have a player downstairs inside of tellers. Everybody very tight-knit on this top floor. Looks like we will have potentially one over on the custom side, maybe vent side. We'll have to see a little bit later on here for MNM exactly where that player will be. Also going to be over inside a workshop, apologies. But either way, MNM got their player down low. Nitro cell here for Nello, so Could be a late round ordeal. He's actually got a mute jammer underneath his legs there, if you guys didn't see it too. That's for the logic bomb. So he literally just took his last one and placed it on the ground so nobody knows that he's just waiting inside a server. So pretty smart there from MNM.
Like a fact with the spam through, it's going to connect too. He uses brought down incredibly low, but thankfully the shots aren't as clean as our attacking friend would have liked for it to be. Backs up, even after he gets boosted by the dock, loses another half of his HP yet again. Uses just really in the hot seat right now. Cannot find a safe spot to place himself. Don't believe there's a direct drone giving away his position either, so they're just taking note. They looks like they do have something to play off of here, but this is going to be on a different part of the map as we get ourselves into office. Shaiko with the nade being chucked back against Tyrant's position. Won't go far enough. He'll stay stable here. The second one, though, will end up a little bit better, but this one goes too deep. A little too little and a little too much. The nade's now empty, meaning that the Valkyrie will stay in place and continue to cause problems for BDS is clear.
Well, neither of these neighbors being kind to each other as both of these teams right next door. Selma charges down on the outside of Archive, start breaking up that long angle. Soliton will finally take some heat here. Does still have that stim pistol. Use the last one now. Shaiko, can't say the same about him. No Finka in play to be able to heal them back up. Efak, he's going to be the first one dusted. Uses on the side angle. They opened up here for break. This might be it for BDS. A big stand to take. Kills necessary here. Shaiko, he's going to use the clone. Try and find some things out. Finally, Renshiro gets something going for BDS. But still, back and forth they dance, stuck in the exact same positions that they have been for practically the last minute. Just a lot of fodder back and forth.
Plan potentially going down here from Bride, but the denial coming right for him. As we see Nello, the nade, or rather the impact landing perfectly there. The Nitro takes him down. Trades going all over the place as Nave picks up another very important kill, but uses also to be exchanged back. Time getting low here for BDS, and potentially time on this map as well. Lems with one final plant attempt, trying to place it down onto the ground. He will be alone here in the 1v2, and indeed, one simple repeat from Solotov seals the deal as MNM lock in map number 1 at the very end of regulation here on round 12.
Incredible game from MNM. So many layers, so many crossfires assisting them with the office push of BDS. Big kills coming through and a perfect stop from Nello. Love